But mate, you're setting sail all the way down to Australia very soon for your debut down here. How you feeling?
We are super excited. Honestly, we it's our first. Almost any of I think one of our guys has been to Australia for a work thing in the past, but other than that, none of us have been to Australia. So we are just pumped, a little bit apprehensive about the long flight, but we'll get through that. We'll get through it, and especially I'm 6'5", so I'm like,
Oh,
all right, well, I don't know how my knees are gonna feel after this,
yeah,
20 something hours to Perth, but we'll get there.
yeah. No, I don't envy you. 6'5", geez, yeah, on a plane all the way. Yeah, no, I'm 5'10", and I complain enough. So you look, mate,
Yeah,
you that's the price to pay to be a musician. It's not about the
yeah.
shows; it's about the flights.
I always say that, like we love to play the shows. It's the travel that where you earn your money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But you must be leaving soon because your first show starts next week, which is huge. Is there any nerves when coming down to a new country and playing for the first time, or do you think you guys kind of have this in the bag at this point?
I mean, honestly, we've been in band since 2017, and we've all been musicians before this band, so we're all, the show. We're pretty confident in our show,
Yeah.
but I would say it's more of an excited nervous, where we're like, oh, like a new place, like different countries have different things that they like, and or different culture, and so like, are they gonna, is everybody in Australia gonna take to us like America has? So that's kind of like the big question, but I think we're pretty confident too. So it's like a sports team rolling in, like playing some team they've never played before. Like, oh, these guys are pretty good, but I think we're good. I think we're all right. That
Yeah.
kind of thing.
No, I think you'll do well because that's the one thing about Australians. We like to have a bit of fun and we like to kind of like we're a relaxed bunch at the end of the day. We're pretty much like
Yeah,
because we know you guys are going to come all the way down here. When you get here, we're like we appreciate the effort. We really do. So yeah, I think
yeah.
you're going to have a good time.
I've heard from multiple sources that Australia likes to party, and we're kind of all about bringing a party. We're playing 70s and 80s soft rock music, and really just like having fun on stage. And we're singing about pina coladas, that kind of thing. So drinking goes hand in hand with the show. Dressing up like we do, wear your captain's hat kind of thing, and grab a pina colada or a mai tai or whatever your drink of choice is, and you're gonna have a good time.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, that's another thing we kind of like to do down here as well is drink, and we don't shy away from that. So I think it will be, I think you're going to fit in nicely. But what I want you to do for me now is this is primarily a bit of a heavy metal channel here we've got. So someone's going to be
Oh,
scrolling and
cool.
see the little captain's hat. So how would you describe Yachtley Crew to someone who's just gone, oh, I'm going to click on that?
Okay, so Yachtley Crew is we're a yacht rock band, which yacht rock is all your favorite hits from the 70s and 80s, from Steely Dan, Toto, Michael McDonald, the Doobie Brothers, Christopher Cross, all those songs that you heard, in your parents' car or maybe in your car when you were a lot younger. And maybe you were afraid to admit that you liked to your friends, but now the time has gone by and there's a nostalgia to it,
Yeah.
and you go, you know what, I really love that song. In our band, we kind of take those songs and rock them a little bit harder, and put a fun stage show to it. We've always our goal as a band has always been to be the Kiss of soft rock. Like, we're gonna go in and be like, people are gonna be like, what are we watching right now? And so that's kind of what we've been able to do.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I remember a little while ago your cover of How Deep Is Your Love came on. That was when I first discovered you guys. Then
Oh, cool.
I've checked out the set list and I look at it going, oh, and you're right. You grow up, in my mid-30s now, you grow up, mum, dad driving you around, all those hits. Like, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
Doobie Brothers, all that. I look at it, I'm like, this is just my work remix, what I put on during the day. It's just that good kind of, it's
Yep.
nostalgic, it's a bit relaxing, but it's fun. I think that's the big thing.
Right.
Fun.
It is fun, and it's a different vibe. We're all rock guys in our band too. Like, we all love rock and roll, and we love metal, and we love Zeppelin and AC/DC and all that kind of stuff. But there's something about yacht rock that it has a mix of jazz in it.
Yeah.
It's a jazz rock fusion, really. Which, it's just like music is just different colors, right? And it's just a different color, and it's a different mood, and so I think it scratches an itch
Mm-hmm.
that some of the hard rock and stuff doesn't scratch. You know what I mean? And not to say it's better or worse. It's just a different thing, just like all music.
Yeah, no, exactly. I can only listen to something scream at me all day before I go and put on the Doobie Brothers or Fleetwood Mac, and then
Exactly,
exactly.
exactly. Especially you get home from a long work day and you're having a whiskey, a glass of whiskey. It's like I want to put on something chill, that kind
Yeah,
of thing. So that's when you put the yacht rock on.
exactly. And speaking of it, how did you guys come together to form this type of band? What was that discussion like? Because it's kind of like, oh well, let's put this gimmick on, let's do this, because that's to get everyone on board. I think must be the well, excuse the pun,
Pun
must be the
intended.
trick there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, our drummer and our bass player, the legend is that they were in their hot tub with their wives listening to Sirius XM satellite radio, and they have a yacht rock station, and so they were listening. And they go, man, these are great songs, and they're great. I love this song and I love that song. And we should make a band with this. And so that's what they did. And then they posted on. Do you guys have Craigslist in Australia?
oh yeah,
Because
of course,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, good. So I found them on Craigslist. I actually typed yacht rock into Craigslist because I was just like, I wonder if there's a yacht rock band. So I think there was just something in the ether,
Yeah.
in the zeitgeist. I was just like, it was time, and so we were like, okay, literally, it was very serendipitous for me to join the band. Uh, the rehearsal was down the street, walking distance from my house at this rehearsal studio. I literally could have walked. I drove, but I could. I'm American, so I drive everywhere.
Yeah.
But I could have walked to the rehearsals, and I went and rehearsed. And then the other guitar players, there was like two other auditions set up, and those guys flaked. And so it was just like they offered me the gig on the spot, and they were like, "We have some singers coming in too. Do you want to stick around and help audition the singer?" So it was like meant to be for me to be in this band. And so yeah, what since then it was like trying to get clubs to buy into yacht rock when they
Yeah.
didn't even know what it was. You know what I mean? Like the promoters would be like, "What? You want to do yacht rock? What's yacht rock? I don't even know what that is." And we're like, "No, no, it's like this thing. There's a station, and we got a lot of I don't know. Maybe some other time, whatever. We're not interested." And then finally, a couple small bars gave us a chance. And literally from the first show, it was like packed house craziness. Like, and I've never been a part of anything like that. I've
Yeah.
been in original bands my whole life. And it's always a struggle. You're begging your friends and family to come out to the shows and kind of that kind of thing. And this was just like, oh my god, like we're onto something here. Like people just immediately the first song they were like, what is happening? Like what am I watching? But like three songs in, they're like, I got it, I'm in, this is awesome, I love this music,
Yeah.
we're partying, that kind of thing. And so we've had just like a rabid fan base, we call them the Croupies, ever since, and we've just been building it across the country now and now across the world, so we're happy to go international.
I can't believe that. You look at something, like you said, you've gone on the Craigslist, you've typed in yacht rock, which is not something I think is in many people's Google history. Well, it might be a bit now because you guys are around, but back then, I
Right.
don't think people were typing that in. So the fact that you just woke up one day and like, oh, I wonder if this exists. Oh, it does. And it's down the street.
Well,
We
yeah,
always,
like
yeah,
yacht rock was definitely a thing, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I was listening to yacht rock and I loved yacht rock, but like, I was honestly, I was at a point where I was like, I need some extra cash. I want to like join some band to play, make some money on the weekends. And I remember thinking like, I wonder if there's a yacht rock band. And I went and typed it in, and then it was like I said, it was like rehearsal down the street, and then within like 2 days, I'm like, I'm in a yacht rock band. Okay,
yeah. Yeah.
it's crazy. So.
And the fact that it's come such a global phenomenon, what was that kind of like in the camp of Yachtley Crew? Like watching this blow up and getting offers to play in countries like Australia. Like you might as well travel to the moon when you're coming here. It's so far away from anything. Yet here you are, and
Yeah,
you're playing good sized venues too. Like you're playing the Metro Theatre in Sydney. It's the show I'm trying to catch you at. That
yeah.
is an amazing venue. It's killer. A lot of rich history there.
Well, we'd love to put you on the guest list to come on out, and that's so great to hear. Uh, I guess that's a credit to our team, and I know we're sold out in Melbourne already too.
Yeah.
So it's like like you said, like I'm like, wow, we've never even been there, and we're selling thousands of tickets where we're places we've never been to before. And I think it just speaks to the music, honestly, where it's just like
Mm.
people just love this music, and we're faithfully recreating it, but doing it in like a fun and energetic way. But yeah, inside the camp, it was you know, like I said in the beginning, like we didn't know we couldn't get a gig at first,
Yeah.
So it was like we thought maybe we'd play three shows and maybe we get booed off stage and people would be like, I hate this stuff. And so it was a bit of a risk. And so now to be like going international is just it's wild, man. It's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. If you had asked me when I was younger, was I going to be a professional cosplay sailor and play 70s and 80s songs? Like I would have never guessed that, honestly. But it's just been exciting, and it's just like, it's one of those things where you're just like it not to get hippy dippy, but it kind of feels meant to be, and it kind of feels like I said, I've been in other bands, and this is just like been a rocket ride from day one, and just like, oh, this is just something that has a life of its own,
Yeah, yeah. And it's a beautiful thing too. And the real reason at the end of the day is you kind of get to wear the sailor's hat. Like there's not many instances you can put on a sailor's hat and people not go, what's wrong with that guy? But
Yeah,
you get to
we
rock
pull it
it.
off.
Everyone in the
Yeah.
crowd gets to rock it as well. What's the energy like from the crowd on these live shows to anyone who hasn't been, who's thinking? Because you hear the word soft rock and you think, oh, how rocky can it be? But I've seen the set list and you're busting out Africa. You're doing all those great hits like that too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
energy in those songs. But how have you found the crowd's reaction, especially as you've been growing?
It's basically it's a 2 hour sing along.
Yeah,
You're gonna find that even the songs you didn't know that you knew. That we start playing. Oh yeah, this song. Oh yeah, that song, and you kind of know all the words, or they come back to you really quick. And so it's really just like a party, and everybody's singing along, and we generally have a really good vibe crowd. It's not too much, not many fights and stuff like that.
yeah.
So it's really just like a fun time of everybody just celebrating an awesome era of music. So that's the best way I could describe it. And then there's a bit of like crowds in awe too, like or what are they going to do next is kind of the thing, that kind of vibe too. So
I love that you had to say the word "not too many fights" because I don't think it matters what type of music you're playing. It could just be at a local
if
cafe
you
and
get
an
a
acoustic
thousand
guitar.
people together in a
Exactly.
room with alcohol, something it's going to happen. You know what I
Ex-
mean? So
exactly. You can't avoid it. But no, I'm assuming not too many circle pits and crowd surfers at these shows. But you never know. Us Aussies might throw
no,
you
I
for a
do
loop.
miss that though. I do miss those days of those kind of shows. But this is a different vibe and a different feel. So I'm happy to be in this kind of thing too.
So I want to ask you because you play them all as well, and this could be a song you don't play, but yacht cross, yacht rock playlist. There we go. Got there in the end. It's still
Yeah.
early here in Australia. But if you could pick three songs that you think everyone should be listening to when they're making that type of playlist, what would they be? And do you play these ones live?
Okay. Yeah. I think, I mean, it's an impossible task. I could go back and forth about different things, but I have to throw a Steely Dan in there.
Yep.
So I'll say Peg from Steely Dan is kind of like a quintessential yacht rock song, which we do play live. It hasn't been in rotation lately, but we have played Peg before. That's definitely it's a Steely Dan from the Asia album, which is just like so much. It's like a perfect record. So I would have to say that. I really love Heart to Heart by Kenny Loggins, which is just it's a lesser known one, but it was a hit for him, but it just wasn't like the hugest Kenny Loggins song. But it's such a cool, like, we kind of rock it, and it's got a cool sax solo in it, so it's very yacht rock. The
Yeah.
sax is a big part of yacht rock too, for those that don't know. And then I would say maybe Baker Street by Jerry
Oh,
Rafferty.
yep. Yep.
That's always we play that every single night, and it's always a big moment in the show. Again, another big saxophone song, and I sing that one, and I see so many people singing along to it, and I had one fan come up to me and was like, I had a tear in my eye during Baker Street, and so it's always cool to hear that. But honestly, the list goes on. You could say Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind,
Yeah.
or Sailing is like, quintessential song. Africa, Hold the Line by Toto is
Yeah.
another good one. Rosanna by Toto is another good one. So these are all songs that are part of our set list.
It's
You get
one of
that
those
kind of.
ones with Toto. You could just play Toto, and it would just work
Yeah,
at the end of
exactly.
the day. Really,
Exactly.
really. Now, coming down to Australia, has there been any talks about chucking something new into the set list that you think the Aussie fans might, in particular, be like, "Oh, I reckon this will work down under"?
Yeah, we definitely gone down the list of like what the Australian artists are that are yacht rock artists. So you might hear a Little River Band song from us on this run, or you might hear um, REO Speedway. No, not Air Supply. Not REO Speedway. Air
Ah.
Supply. I always get those two mixed up. But yes, there might be an Air Supply song. Um, and I guess, we might even though this isn't technically yacht rock, we might throw a Bee Gees song in just because they got some Australian roots. They're kind of back in, they're kind of half Australia, half England, but
Mate,
I think they kind of count.
Australians, and I'm just going to tell you this in advance, if we can claim some artist as our own, we will. We do it. Like most of
So Bee
ACG's,
Gees are Australia then, right?
yes, they're Australian. Like
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, who's New Zealander. No, he's Australian. Crowded House, New Zealand. No, they're Australian. So we take everything we can. If you've lived
Is
here,
there anybody that I missed that you would say like, oh, you got to do this artist?
it comes down to yacht rock. I don't know. I was kind of hoping you were going to say
or like parallel, adjacent to yacht rock kind of thing.
I don't know. You could bust out Crowded House. They've got a couple of or even I don't know. I don't know if any In Excess would work. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it's song to song, like the Eagles. Sometimes it's like we do Hotel California now and then, and that's not technically it's more of a classic rock song, but it's like it's kind of adjacent. So we'll do it, or One of These Nights by the Eagles we'll do. Not that they're Australian, I know that. But I'm just saying sometimes it depends on the artist.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some feelers out there when you listen to it, and there's a lot. I'm rattling my brain now, so if I think of any, I'll find you guys on Instagram. I'll just be, it was this band I was trying to think of. Yeah, there we go. But before I let you go today, as well, is there anything, because you've got a little bit of time in between shows, not a lot, there's a couple of travel days in there I can see. Is there anything you're hoping to see whilst down here? The good thing about Australia is, especially on the East Coast, like Melbourne and Sydney, everything's kind of like I'll go mile for you, about a 5 to 10 mile radius. So you actually can go and see the sites once you're in the city. Yeah.
That's nice. I will say that a lot of time, even my family were like, you went to city XYZ. How was it? And I'm like, I got there at 2 p.m. Sound check was at 4. Then we had dinner. Then we played the show. Then I went to bed.
Yeah.
So I don't get to always see the cities, but we do have a couple of days off, as you said. I think we have a day off in Melbourne and Adelaide.
Yeah.
So, I kind of want to just walk around the city and get a vibe and walk into a dive bar somewhere, where the locals are. That's kind of what I like to do. Or I'll search on Google, like what's the good restaurant, and we'll kind of do that thing. But I think we definitely want to get some partying in with the Australians,
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's what you do when you're down there, right? So,
exactly.
By the way, I need to comment on your Majora's Mask light. I really,
hell yeah.
I spend a lot of time on the road with Zelda. It's made the travel a lot easier. So I'm gonna play Echoes of Wisdom on the flight over to Australia. So I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad you noticed. I always chuck that one in the background because there's always someone's like, is that Majora's Mask back there? Because I can't see. I've got the moon tattooed back here from me of that game. That's just one of those.
Oh, that's cool.
Childhood games that really kind of stuck out. My wife hates looking at that thing though. She freaks the hell out.
It is kind of freaky. It is kind of freaky, and the game is kind of freaky too.
It is. It's a bit dark. It's a bit dark.
It's like a nightmare version of Ocarina.
Exactly as well. And when you mentioned in the city as well, since you guys have got the whole gimmick, where you're playing at the Metro Theatre, you could literally walk down the Darling Harbour and get the Opera House in the background of your shots.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we got to do all the touristy stuff when we're in Sydney. Yeah,
but also,
and then there's a bridge in Brisbane I've heard about too, right?
There is, and I don't think it's too far from where you're playing. I forget the name of it, but everyone, their dog goes and gets so if they don't go to the koala sanctuary as well,
koala sanctuary.
Yes,
that might be something we need to do.
Yes,
I try not to be too much of a tourist, but sometimes you just gotta.
Yeah, you got to, mate. Like, how often do you get to come out here? You got to make that flight count at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's the important thing. But
it's going to be a whirlwind, man. We're like playing a show, and then even on the off days, we're kind of traveling somewhere. So it's like, hopefully the travel won't be too much, and for us to be able to spend some time seeing some of Australia.
No, I think you'll be right. The Perth to Adelaide might be the longest flight, but after that, we're all on the East Coast after that, so you don't need to worry too much, man. But
cool.
Beautiful. Like I said, you're getting ready for that flight, so I don't envy you, but I'm glad you're coming down. Hopefully, I will see you on the 17th. It's my wife's birthday, so I'm trying to surprise her. We're in the city anyway, so yeah.
Oh, great. Well, if you don't have tickets, let us know, and we'll put you on the guest list.
I will do, brother. Thank you so much. No, beautiful. Right. And speaking of tickets, they will be in the comments down below. But Tommy, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week, everybody.